Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Loud House, Season 2, Episodes 26 through 29. So yeah, we're doing 4 episodes this week. Kind of just getting back into things because we had last few days of last week off and everything, and the weekend as well. So I've decided, you know, we're just going to get 4 episodes, plus, to be honest, it would have been 2 otherwise, because 2 of the episodes, just in the order on Kim Cartoon, were apparently like bunched together. So it's like it'd either be do 2 episodes or do all 4. And I thought I'll just do all 4. So per usual, I have no idea what's going to happen in this set. I'm really excited to find out though, as always, because the series is really doing well for itself. It has some hiccups here and there, of course. Not every episode's great, but it's doing pretty well, and it's really started to get its footing in a meaningful way. I really like what it's really begun doing with its characters. If I remember right, last week, we had one episode that we did 2 episodes last week. One was not so great. The other was pretty damn good. If I remember right, the one that was pretty damn good was focused on Lucy and her putting curses on her siblings, even though it was actually just coincidental. And the one that was not as great was actually a double-length episode, which is actually why I only did 2 last week, because I was originally going to do 3, but one of them was double-length and I didn't realize it. And that double-length episode was all about Ronnie and Bobby going on a little trip to visit their family in the city, apparently also in another state, and kind of leading into them moving there, which, as I've mentioned in the past, I knew about the spin-off, the Casagrandes, or however it's pronounced. I do apologize for pronouncing that wrong, whichever way I pronounced it. But I knew about the spin-off beforehand, so yeah. I wasn't fond of the episode. I didn't like the characters. I don't like this plot line that they're doing. I don't think it works to have Ronnie and Bobby move away. I think it's what they're trying to do is they're trying to do this entire story about a long distance relationship and showing that, yeah, that kind of thing can still work, and it can. It very much can. But it's just like, I just feel like it was kind of forced in. It doesn't feel natural, and it just... the story just doesn't work here. I'm sorry, I just don't feel it does. If you like that episode, that's great. And if you like this plot, if you're excited for the Casagrandes, that's great. I'm not. And as I believe I said it last time, unless someone chooses to have it as a donation reward for a mega stream, I probably won't be reacting to it. Once it comes out, of course. But yeah, I'm really interested to see where this series continues to go either way. We are definitely starting to get more focus on the sisters, like just alone, which is, again, what I've been wanting. And I really hope we continue to do more and more of that. Because right now it seems like it's still kind of more of the exception than the rule. We're still focusing most of the episodes still on Lincoln. And it's like, okay, they're working their way into it, but they really need to start moving faster with that, I feel. But yeah, I'm excited either way, and I hope this goes pretty well. In the meantime, yeah, we are going to get started and find out. I do also have to record OKKO today, so I should probably get on this, right? So, that being said, when the screen fades to black...
6, 6, 6. Coming soon.
Pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, I was waiting for this episode, but we'll get to that in a moment, because I do want to talk about these in order. So, first off, with episode 26. This was definitely the worst of the set today. Lincoln's friends are misunderstanding why he's standing in front of Ronnie Ann's old house. They think that he's blue because of her moving away and kind of breaking up with him, I guess. But it's like, in reality, he's waiting for a package that she ordered and was being delivered there, which ended up being a prank by her towards him, which was actually really adorable. This episode, though, combined with the final episode of this set, episode 29, where it showed that Lincoln was pining after this other girl, it kind of, that episode kind of implies that Lincoln and Ronnie aren't a thing, that they're not together, even with a long-distance relationship. But in this episode, it almost kind of, even though the reason why he was waiting there was misconstrued, the ending kind of implies that he does miss her. And we've seen in the past there has been this romantic subtext with them, and even to the point of them, I think they actually went on a date in Ronnie's first actual appearance. But it's like, then in the last week's episodes, I believe that was when they were also saying, like, oh, we're not together and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, it just feels like the show isn't sure what to do with them. Because at first it was definitely being shown as a romantic thing, but now it's kind of gone into more of a friendship. And I don't know, it just feels kind of weird. My reason, though, for disliking this episode was not because of that. It was because of, I don't like this entire plot line when it's this overdone. This show has already had once or maybe even twice the entire kind of misunderstanding thing. And it wasn't done well then, and it wasn't done well here. It just feels so generic and completely just unimpressive. So yeah. Episode 27 was a lot better. So the entire thing was this massive prank Luann had planned for April Fool's Day, to prank her entire family in one go while making them think that they're escaping the prank. It ended up being actually pretty fantastic. The depth of the prank was great. And I loved the way it ended, how they actually did get back at her, but then she swore vengeance on them, and it's like, what the hell? But I swear we had something like that before. I swear we had an April Fool's Day thing with Luann before. Am I wrong on that? Maybe I can look that up real quick. Because I swear that's not the first time we've had that. Let me see here. No! No, I'm completely right. In Season 1, there is an episode called April Fool's Rules, in which Luann pranks the entire household, but this year Lincoln has a plan to not get pranked. And let me see if I can find the exact specifications of it. Ronnie Ann's in it. It's basically, so this one was just focused on Lincoln trying to avoid it mostly, it seems. Either way, yeah, this plot, though, with Luann on April Fool's Day trying to prank them and them trying to avoid and all, it's literally been done before. And here's the thing, I liked the episode, don't get me wrong, but I did notice that almost right away, and because of it, it did kind of feel like a recycled plot element. It did feel like it's like, okay, they're just doing the same thing again. This time, I'll admit, was better. I did like this more than the other one. I mean, the other one I didn't even fully remember. This one I think is definitely a lot more memorable and interesting. So I will say I did like it more. Again, just going off of memory, but either way, it's a legitimately recycled plot, and it's like, okay, there's so many opportunities for things to do with Luann as a character, and you choose to just do the same thing you've already done, and it's like, I mean, at this point, why even bother doing a Luann episode there if you really can't think of anything else to do with her? I don't know. It just felt really recycled again, for lack of a better word, or lack of a word I could think of at the moment. But again, it was still a good episode. Episode 28. So the siblings misunderstand Lily. When she's saying donut, they think she's saying damn it. And so they realize that they've said damn it around her and have been a bad influence and all, so they're trying to be a good influence before this daycare interview that their parents are having to get Lily into this really exclusive daycare. So they try to be the best. They try to like go through the same kinds of stuff that they fear influenced Lily in the first place, just not swearing this time. And in the end, during the interview, they go through just the most ridiculous shit. Lisa pretending to be Lily was so fucking ridiculous, but in a very good way, by the way. It was hilarious. And in the end, they realized, thanks to the daycare lady, that she was just saying donut. But then, just straight up, apparently shouted fuck. Like, that cannot be interpreted as any other word. It's like, okay, Loud House has taken some risks. It's definitely done some pretty mature topics and ideas and everything, and it handles its characters in a way that a lot of cartoons in the past would never have taken things. And a lot of cartoons these days are like that, ever since this decade really began. So it's like, it's not like completely surprising, but it's like, wow. Like, they implied that this baby shouted out the F word. And here's the thing. I personally don't have any issue with swearing. I don't think that it's that big of a deal. Even when kids do it, I think people take it out of proportion. A word is a word, and the only way a word can be bad is if negative intent and meaning is put behind it. Otherwise, it's completely neutral no matter what. Or if positive meaning and intent is put behind it, then it's positive. But you get the idea. You get the point. Which is why I don't think saying like fuck, shit, damn, any of that, I don't think any of that's negative. Unless, again, you're putting negative intent behind it. You're intending to like hurt someone or insult someone or something. Then it's bad. But you could say the same thing about calling someone a loser in that situation, because you're putting, again, negative intent towards someone behind it. Now, there are words that are inherently bad because of what the words literally mean and stand for, such as a lot of racial slurs and whatnot. Those words are definitely bad, but in general, like words, again, like fuck, shit, and everything, they're not bad. In fact, fuck, in general, is like, it's an action. You're fucking someone. You're having sex. Shit is another word for taking a poop. Damn is another word for, basically, how do I put it? For being, well, okay, that's a more negative way to put it. Okay, let's go with ass instead, because damn is usually used in a more negative context, even in other contexts than just people shouting it. Usually, not always, but like ass, it's your butt. You get the idea. You get what I'm coming from with all of this, though. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal for a kid to swear, or a baby even. Again, as long as there's not legitimate negative intent and purpose behind them doing so. the thing though is that in media, it's still kind of taboo, and especially in children's programming. And other shows have gone away with this. Even though I hate SpongeBob, I will acknowledge that one of its few good episodes was the one where they had the entire joke about swearing. Or I think they called it sailor speech or something like that. Um, and they were using like boat sounds or something. Something along those lines. I don't remember all the details about it. But yeah, it's that same kind of deal. Except here it's a lot more noticeable. They made it, I don't want to say more explicit, but more obvious what they were saying the entire time. Um, I mean, this just the context of the scenes were enough to show that. And especially at the end, like she just said fuck. And it's like, ooh. I don't know, that just caught me off guard. Like the damn it thing is one thing. But it's like that just really caught me off guard. I guess because of how intense they portrayed that scene. I don't know. Again, it's just a baby being a baby and being influenced and stuff, but still, wow, it just surprised me, I guess. Um, but then we get to episode 29. Like I said at the beginning of these afterthoughts, the one I've been waiting for. So yeah, before I even started reacting to this, I did know about this episode. Um, I did know about Luna being bi. In fact, it was one of the main reasons why I started reacting to the show. Um, because at the time, I identified as bisexual. I've come to realize that I'm actually pan, which the difference, for those who might not know, bi means two. So a bisexual is attracted to people of two different genders, most commonly male and female, but it could be any two genders. And pan means all. Um, so people who are pan are attracted to anyone of any gender, all genders. It doesn't, in fact, most of the time we like to word it like, oh, it doesn't matter. We don't care what your gender is. We're attracted to you based on who you are, based on personality more than anything else. But again, at the time when I first started reacting to this and when I first, like, really started hearing about the show, I did identify as bi, and so I wanted to see a character like this. And I mean, I still did, even after I started identifying as pan. I wanted to see a character like this, and yeah, it was a really cool idea. So through this episode, like I didn't realize it was the episode at first. But then it's like the instant it showed Sam on screen, it's like it instantly clicked with me because I had known what Sam looked like. I had seen pictures and fan art and stuff of her before. So I knew what she looked like, so the instant I saw her, I knew it was this episode because she hadn't appeared until now. So, I like the way this was handled, the entire Secret Admirer thing, and I like how it was actually not actually happening. I like that we saw that it was just their parents in the end just being cute as fuck together. Like, seriously, that entire flashback with how they met and everything and how they fell in love was so fucking cute. Like, I mean, I already love their parents. I think the parents are actually really good characters who... I mean, every time I hear someone talk about the show, they always talk about the kids, and fair enough, but the parents are just really good characters too, and I think they really need a lot more love. The mom, I mean, her design for one is drop dead gorgeous. She's really attractively designed, and on top, even when she's younger, there, like just the ponytail and everything, and she's really cute. And the father, he's a really funny, likable character. And I mean, she is too, but you get the point. You get what I'm saying about all of this. They have these really just magnetic characters and personalities to them that draw us as viewers into them. And so it's awesome to see that. It's awesome to see a good big moment seeing how they met in this episode that otherwise wasn't about it. And it didn't feel out of place at all either. In fact, it was actually Luna's inspiration for reaching out to Sam and giving her the letter, which was I had actually seen that clip before. Again, before I started reacting to the show, and again, it was one of the reasons why I started watching. So I already had seen the clip where she leaves the letter in the locker, but I didn't have the context behind it. And now having that context actually makes it feel a lot more special. This episode in general wasn't necessarily the best, but I really loved it personally because of what it did. And specifically how it handled Luna's crush on Sam. One, I mean, even outside of just seeing all of the other sisters having a crush on someone, which is adorable, especially certain ones. Lenny, I just love that. Okay, I want to talk about Lenny's crush real quick. I don't remember his name. I think it was shown on his name tag, but it's like, I don't remember what it said. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I'm looking back at the flashback stuff at the end here. Yeah, this guy. His arm's covering it. Let me see if I can find the other part where it shows this stuff. Well, there... Chaz. Okay. So, yeah. Lenny has this crush on this guy named Chaz, who I guess works at a clothing store. This Chaz guy, he's not like the most standardly attractive dude. He's fat. He's fat, and probably wouldn't be seen as, you know, conventionally attractive, especially to a girl who, honestly, Lenny, even though she's very naive and very ridiculous and kind of silly and everything, she's still kind of your very standard teenage girl. Huge into fashion and all of that kind of stuff that you see teenage girls be big into. Which is why she and Lori actually get along as well as they do sometimes because of their shared interests in that kind of stuff. But we also see here that Lenny has a crush on this guy. A guy that, again, would, in a lot of cases, be shunned by girls like her. But she likes him. And there are some people out there who might say, oh, it's because she's dumb. It's because she's not thinking about it. And people like that, you can shut the fuck up. Lenny likes him probably because of who he is. He's probably a really nice guy who's helped her out when she's gone to that store, who's given her some tips and ideas for new clothes. I mean, we see at one point that he actually offers this specific outfit for her, and which she clearly loves. So it's like, there's actually something there. And I know I'm focusing just on this one specific one. I know Lenny's one of my favorites of the group, if not my number one. But it's not even that bias that's doing it. It's just the way this is handled and the way it feels natural. And again, the way it kind of goes against stereotypes. And the show's done that well in the past. Lori is a great... her character in general is a great example of that. She's not your just stereotypical blonde teenage girl asshole stereotype. She actually is a pretty cool person. Which I've talked about plenty in the past. But it's like, I just really like that. Maybe it's because I grew up and still am fat. So it's like, I've been shunned by girls like this, who look and act like Lori and Lenny do. So seeing this fat teenage boy actually be crushed on by one of those types of girls, like a legitimate, beautiful, romantic crush, it's like, it's wonderful. That's awesome. But yeah, I love what they did with revealing who Sam was. Throughout the entire thing, it's like it's showing Luna crushing. Every time it shows Luna crushing on Sam, there's always like one or two other guys there, one or two other rocker guys, and it never uses any gender pronouns for Sam. not once. Um, and most people watching initially would probably think, oh, it's the one guy who seems to kind of be in the foreground of things. Um, it's not, even though the girl who is actually Sam, even though she sticks out really, like, a lot with her appearance. But again, maybe that's just because I did know what she looked like, and I just noticed that instantly. Um, but I mean, I think her just style and overall look is a lot different than um, the others we saw in that group. But it's like this everything is like kind of every time we see them, it's focusing more on the guy. And so we automatically think it's the guy, but then at the end, when we see Luna's going to take that step forward and and send a letter to Sam, we see that the reveal is handled so naturally. We see the group of them walking by, and then Sam stops, and the one guy who we thought was Sam calls her Sam, flipping the entire narrative on its head. And I think that's an excellent way to do it because again, it felt natural. It didn't feel like it was this big forced moment. It didn't feel like they like made this big deal out of it. It's just like, oh, they're just walking past. She stops at her locker, and it's like, hey, Sam. And it's like, oh. And if I didn't know about this, like it wouldn't have given me like this big shock moment because again, it was handled so naturally that it didn't feel shocking. It felt more like, oh, cool. Because you start to put things together the instant you hear that, and it's like, so when Luna said she likes Sam, it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, it kind of gives off more of that feeling. Like, it's like, oh, that's really cool. Rather than like an, oh my gosh, they just did that? No, you don't feel like that. That was definitely more of when Lily said fuck at the end of the other episode. That was more of a shock moment. But yeah, like I said, I seen when Luna put the letter in the locker, saw Sam open the locker and everything, and read the letter and that cute little smile and everything. I'd seen that before. That's something that I have seen, and it's like even so, seeing it in context once again, as I said before, makes it much more impactful because it gives depth to that scene. The scene alone is great, but when it's in context of what was going on throughout this episode, and especially Luna's struggle with self-doubt. Like, seriously, throughout this episode, Luna showed a lot of self-doubt. She didn't feel like she was worthy. Like, Sam was just so far beyond her reach, so far beyond her level. Almost in a kind of Aladdin and Jasmine way, like from the Disney movie Aladdin. It kind of feels a lot like that. But it's this kind of stuff even wasn't done in Aladdin. No. Luna feels like really, really down on herself. She feels like that Sam is just way beyond her. And I like that. I mean, I don't like seeing Luna like that, but you know what I mean. I like that she's having those doubts because it adds more to her character. And when she hears her parents' story and decides to finally just go for it, that smile she gives at the end of the episode is so meaningful. Because it shows not only that she was happy that Sam read her letter and smiled herself, but that she was happy she could even do that. That she got up the nerves, that she got up the guts to be able to give her crush a letter. It felt so just beautiful. And again, the episode also didn't make a big deal out of the fact that it was a girl. It didn't try to make this big statement or anything about it. Even though Sam was never once mentioned gender-wise until the end when the big reveal happened. Again, it didn't feel like a big reveal. It didn't feel like this massive thing. It was so natural, it just felt like, oh yeah, Sam's a girl, by the way. Cool. And it was really nice. So yeah, I really appreciate what they did with this. I love it much more now that I have the context. I don't know how much Sam is going to appear in the future because this show tends to take ongoing story elements and just kind of scatter them around here and there. They don't like have this big constant impact because the show is, in and of itself, very episodic. Even with the entire thing about Ronnie and Bobby having moved, it was mentioned in these episodes, but I don't think it's really going to be that like constant of a noteworthy thing. Like, the biggest thing we had here obviously was with episode 26, where it was a part of the plot, but we're not going to have that all the time. We're not going to have that be a part of the plot all the time. We're not going to have Bobby being gone and Lori missing him be a part of the plot all the time. We'll have her still texting him and stuff, sure. Video chatting maybe, but it's not going to be a big like element of the story. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of thinking that Sam probably won't either. Now, I have heard one thing. Where the series is currently, in Season 3, I have heard that apparently there's an episode coming up that is going to focus on Luna and Sam. I don't know in what way, and I don't know how big of a deal it's going to be. I don't know anything about the episode. I just have heard that, unfortunately, browsing Twitter. And as always, no spoilers. Do not tell me anything about it. And do not even tell me how much of an interaction or how much of a character that Sam's had even between that point. I will find that out on my own. But yeah, I'm really excited that we finally gotten to this point. Because, again, Luna has been canonically shown to be interested in a male character in the past as well. So it's like, it's very clear she's either bi or pan, and I believe it's just straight up been confirmed by the people who work on the show that she is bi. And that's great. That's fantastic. I'm all for that representation, as you know. So yeah, I just really, really like that. Either way, I have talked about this set of episodes much, much long enough. Too long, you could say. So we are going to end this here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of these 4 episodes of The Loud House Season 2. What did you think of the pranking episode? What did you think of the way they handled Luna's crush on Sam? And what do you... Did the entire thing with Lily saying fuck, even if it was censored out, did that shock you as much as it did me? Tell me your thoughts on all of that and more down in the comments below. And once again, no spoilers. And in the meantime, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through